But more now on the situation in Aleppo, where thousands of civilians and rebel fighters are leaving the city. The Russian military says over 1,000 people have been taken to safety after a ceasefire deal was reached with rebel leaders. But UN observers still fear for their safe passage. Let's talk to David Swanson from the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, who's in Amman tonight. David, good to see you. What do we actually know about the situation on the ground and how this is being managed and policed?
Well, obviously, what we have is a critical window of opportunity for all of us in the humanitarian community, given the situation in Aleppo. Right now, the United Nations, ICRC, and the Syrian Red Crescent are working very closely together to provide an enabling environment for these evacuations to take place. We're working and in touch with all parties to the conflict to ensure that people can be taken out safely. What I can confirm to your viewers today is that around 2:40 this afternoon, Damascus time, the first round of 26 wounded individuals were taken out. This was followed very shortly afterwards by 20 buses carrying civilians, as well as 13 ambulances carrying people out towards western Aleppo.
We're talking, though, about 50,000 people or thereabouts, I think. How long is this process going to take? Because clearly there's a lot of concern about whether the ceasefire can hold long enough for all these people to get out.
Absolutely, and that is exactly the reason why I mentioned this is a critical window of opportunity. And the UN is working very hard to ensure that this window stays open for us as long as possible. In the meantime, we continue to call on all parties to the conflict to ensure the safe, voluntary, and dignified movement of civilians so that they can allow to leave the city and to receive assistance on the other side in western Aleppo.
What about other people in Aleppo, the civilians or rebels who are in other parts of the city where we just don't know what's happening to them? I mean, are you getting more information than the rest of us are getting? I mean, it's far from transparent.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. And this is an extremely complex situation with multiple players on the ground. And for a long time, we have not really known how many people are in eastern part of the city, etc. What I can say to you right now is that 40,000 people have already left the city and are now in the western part of the city, now receiving assistance. That being said, I think we can easily say that there are still thousands more in the eastern part of the city, and we are working overtime right now with our partners on the ground to ensure those people can be evacuated. That's what our aim is right now.
And what do we know of, I mean, the people that have been taken now to Idlib and during this process, however long it takes? What do we know of the situation there?
Well, the people that have been taken out, for the most part, have been taken. Most of the 40,000 people I mentioned to you are now in areas that have been gone to western Aleppo, the western government-held area, and to the surrounding countryside. Now, as I mentioned, there's close to 40. Actually, there's more than 40,000 people that have actually safely traveled outside eastern part of the city, and they are now receiving assistance. The UN is currently, alongside its partners on the ground, are providing assistance. We're providing non-food items for close to, as I said, more than 40,000 people. We're also providing hot meals to about 20,000 people twice a day. So we also have, on top of that, we have about 70 metric tons of health supplies on the ground there. So we are there. The UN is on the ground there in Aleppo, and we're working to assist these people as much as we can where we can actually access them. That being said, we would like to do more, and we are ready to do more. So we are hopeful that this window of opportunity that I mentioned to you earlier stays open for an extended period of time.
David, we've just had word that the British Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson, has summoned the Russian ambassador and the Iranian ambassador to the Foreign Office this afternoon. There's a few interesting quotes coming out of this. They deserve no credit, he says, for the fact that an evacuation appears to be underway, having inflicted such suffering on the people of eastern Aleppo. Iran and Russia cannot expect praise for allowing some people to escape at the final hour. Now, and I know you won't want to get deeply involved in the politics in all of this, but this is the final hour after years and years of absolute destruction in this city and elsewhere.
Well, this is a particularly difficult situation on the ground. As humanitarians, I would not want to comment on the political negotiations that have been taking place. Those need to come through the Office of the Special Envoy in Geneva. What I can say on the part of the United Nations and as part as humanitarians on the ground, what we are ready to do and what we want to do right now is to mitigate the suffering of the Syrian people, particularly the Syrians that are living in eastern Aleppo. What they have gone through is absolutely undescribable, and it's our utmost responsibility, as well as the responsibility of the international community, to do whatever we can to reduce their suffering.
David Swanson, appreciate your time today. Thank you.